The 40 Lessons Podcast is a Shining Starlet Entertainment production.
Time for another week of life, love, and everything in between on the 40 Lessons Podcast. What's up, everybody, man? Welcome to another week of the 40 Lesson Podcast, where we talk about life, love, and everything in between. As you see, Tori is still out skating, doing nothing. I don't understand where she at, but no, I'm just playing. Tori's on vacation. I hear she's in Mexico, living her best life. So I hope, she's going to come back with a whole bunch of new stories to tell us and all those great things. I'll get in her business as I always do. Today's guest of the 40 Lesson Podcast, Sherry Samuels, is brought to us by The Voice Coach. You can reach her and find out more information about her products and services at www.sherrysamuels.com. But today, I have me a lovely woman here with me, a colleague of mine. She's also a life coach, hails from the metropolis of Laurel in the subdivision of Russet. Out here with the rest of us, you know what I'm saying? Miss Sherry Samuels, the voice coach. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we're gonna, get right into the show. I do this thing called This Is America.
Okay.
Well, we talk about some things going on in America. And found out a funny fact about you.
Yes.
You from South Bend, Indiana?
South Bend. I'm a Hoosier.
Is that right?
Yes.
I didn't even realize black people was in South Bend. I thought Indiana had took care of all that and moved everybody to Michigan.
No.
That didn't happen. There are a few. Are you a Notre Dame fan as well?
No.
No. Oh. So you with IU?
No.
You don't like any of them?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, cool.
But if I had to choose, I would choose IU.
Okay. All right. I hear that. So listen. Somebody from your town is making noise.
Yes.
Mayor Pete.
Yes.
Is ruffling some feathers. In a good way. He is changing the conversation. And also developing a conversation.
Yeah.
Which brings me to what I wanted to chat about in This Is America this week was, do you think America's ready for a gay president?
No.
Wow. Why you say that?
It's because, well, let me start by saying I didn't think that America was ready for a black president. And I feel like...
I didn't either. They shocked me.
He was an amazing president, but I feel like it led to some other things, to opening doors to other things.
It brought us back to some places that we was trying to get away from.
Yes.
And are you scared the same thing could happen with this?
Yes.
I presume the LBGT community has a pretty good place in the country right now. You don't think that this would even expand more where they of their footing in the country and the respect and some of the equality and equal right things they've been going after? You don't think this is going to catapult some of that?
So I think it has the ability to catapult some of that. I think him running, and if I've seen one interview with him and he sounds really smart, really capable.
Very smart.
I really liked what I heard
and a
from
little
him.
shade. He got a little way of throwing some shade too. He cut Prince up one day.
He sounds good. The one thing, if you take gay out of it and you just look that he's just a white guy, a young white guy running for president, okay, fine. And I think adding the gay to the conversation,
seeing that first dude walk around the White House is a little complicated for people.
It's a little complicated. Seeing
him out on the front lawn at the Easter egg roll
with his husband,
it's gonna trouble some people at Easter time.
It very well could.
That's it's an interesting conversation, but it seems like it's almost an inevitable one that's gonna happen. It seems like America is going through a cultural shift that it is fighting desperately. But with the global majority that is happening, because, people of color are going to be the majority by, 2052 or 2054 or something to that effect. They're going to, effectively be the largest population in the world. You have that's happening. So, there are Caucasian, old white men everywhere that are terrified that they will die one day for some odd reason, as if they didn't know that would happen anyway. I'm shocked at why that's new information for them, and they're doing everything in their fervor to somehow keep power that you're going to eventually have to let go of anyway. Women are making a ferocious push to claim their place in society. We have more women in government than ever before. We're about to have an onslaught of women running for president. Very possible that there will be a woman on the ticket in some shape, form, or fashion, whether she's the vice or the top of the ticket.
Yeah.
It is an interesting dynamic, and I'm trying to figure out, should America be developing itself to be prepared to go through some of these changes?
I think it's, like you said, it's inevitable.
Right.
We are a society of people who are very different. We look differently. Everyone is an individual. We're experiencing different things. We're growing up with different things. So we need to be able, if we are a country of the people and of people who are supposed to be coming from different places, then it should look like a Black woman president or a gay president or whatever. It should look like what our country looks like. And people shouldn't be afraid of it.
But why are people afraid of that? Because they are terrified of that picture.
Because it's different.
And does things that are usually different trouble us to this day?
Yes.
We're gonna hold up "This Is America" right there, because we're gonna get into that a little bit as we move into the main discussion. 40 Lessons, a coach for life. For life coaching services, contact Dumisani Solwazi at thereal40lessons@gmail.com. That's thereal40lessons@gmail.com. One of the things I wanted us to chat about today was creating safe places in partnerships, relationships, and marriages.
That's good stuff.
I know nothing fascinates me more. As I've been, getting into this life coach thing, and you deal with couples, you talk and chat with couples, and you hear them tell their stories and the conflict that is brewing or ongoing, and I'm always just shocked by how distrusting we are of the person that we lay with every night.
Yeah.
Amazing. Why do we have such a hard time having a safe place with the person that we say we love and care for, in some instances are even married to? Why is that such a struggle for people?
I believe it's because of what each individual views love as. So it's what we're all coming into a relationship with, a story, with a lot of stories.
Okay.
And whatever love looked like to you, what did love look like to you growing up? What were your parents doing? Was it a single parent? Was it two parents but they weren't communicating with each other? What are the things that were happening in those relationships? That's what you're creating when you're in a relationship with someone else.
Oh.
Does that make sense? So like you're inviting in somebody, what you saw love look like. That's what you're creating.
So nobody starts with their own blank slate, even though they think they do.
They think they do,
but
they're not
subconsciously
really.
Some things have been implanted in you in which you find yourself duplicating in your adult life. And it really puts you, because back in the day, you know how it was. Don't you tell nobody what's going on in this house.
Exactly. What goes on in this house
stays in this house. And sometimes what was going on in that house, somebody needed to know about.
Exactly.
Because it wasn't good. We need to tell somebody.
Yeah.
This is a true story. I wrote a book.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if you was aware. No, I'm just playing. So.
I think so. What is it called?
40 Lessons.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was at a family event. And a couple family members had read the book. And so I tell a story about me being adopted and how that happens. And one of my cousins looked at me and said, "Man, I didn't know Larry wasn't your real daddy." And I was like, "Huh? You older than me.
Yeah.
How could you possibly
not
know the story?"
Yeah.
And it was like mind blowing to me in the moment that was the first time. Information I'm sharing, I'm just thinking I'm telling something that most people who know me intimately are aware of, had no clue of. And I was like, wow, that's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep. Rest in power to my grandmother who's long and gone. I mean, I know, no animosity on the situation. I mean, people did things the way they did things because at the time they thought that was the best way to do them. When we're in these partnerships, relationships, or marriages, how do we go about not having that type of situation happen for our children one day? How do we create safe places upon our partnerships and our relationships and our marriages so that there are no secrets among us and that our deepest and darkest thoughts or even new developments in what we may want as a person as far as our pleasures, our desires, or dreams and hopes. How do we create a safe place of bringing about that information and introducing that information to our partner?
It starts with curiosity. So I think it's really important for people to always be curious in relationships. And so when we go into the relationship and this thing happened or that thing happened, why did that happen? What is going on? So that you're always asking questions and trying to go deeper with your partner, that you're trying to go deeper with yourself too. Because and if we're aware that there are other things that could be leading to me not being trustworthy or trusting you, then we can go forward and really create something that's real and build some foundation that sticks.
But shouldn't there be a separation of things? So let's say I've had some inappropriate actions or some actions that have caused some disappointment along the way. That shouldn't affect me being able to have a safe place with you, should it?
I need to know.
What do you need to know exactly?
I need to know your history.
Okay.
It's important to me in my relationship to know and understand the history, because when I know and understand the history, when you do that thing that I want to choke you out about,
I see what you're saying.
Then I can come back, take
People
a step
don't understand
back.
that. You want to understand where this may have come from, because sometimes the history has already predicted your actions.
Exactly.
And sometimes people don't even understand why they crave or need a certain type of activity or thing. Does it help you to handle that situation more openly? Are you more willing to embrace it? What does it do for you to know the history?
So I think it disarms things. If I know the history, then I know, okay, this is what happened. You can be different.
Okay.
The thing is, we don't allow people to be different. We don't allow ourselves to be in the relationship and say, hey, you know what? Let's clean slate this.
Exactly.
Let's come from a brand new place. I know you have some history and I need to know what that is so that we can come in together.
But
and
none
I
of that
can
has nothing to do with me.
It doesn't have anything to do with me. And I can create a safe space for you because maybe you were cheated on before.
Absolutely.
And so I need to be able to say, you know what? You have these things, these stories that you're coming in with. I need to be able to support you and love you through that as you continue to heal from anything that gets triggered in the relationship. Because the thing is, if you and I were in a relationship and I do something, I'm poking you.
Absolutely.
I don't understand why you're getting upset when
because
I just
you're poking
did this.
me. Right.
I just did this just a little bit, but you get really upset.
Because maybe I've been beat to a point where that little tick is about to have me to explode.
That's why the history is important. That's why it's important to stay curious.
But you know, people are so guarded.
Yes.
And why do people get into intimate relationships with people? Whether it's, you know, whatever you want to label your thing, a partnership, a relationship, a marriage, whatever your code word or name is for it, I'm talking to you. Why do people get into these intimate places and refuse to be intimate? They have to know that at some point I can't keep walking on surface with this person. This person is going to want to swim into my depth at some point. Why am I fighting this person and not letting them swim within me?
It's scary.
But what are you scared of?
Because when you see, so there was a point several years ago, I wrote a blog about my mom and I called it Midwestern Storm Shelter. So my mom was good about going into this safe space and the
panic mode.
Yes. And the mantra in our house was always, what goes on in the house stays in the house.
Absolutely.
People would see the facade. They would see everything.
They look like a great family.
Exactly. Everything is fine. You go inside.
Different story.
Stuff's hitting the fan. All kinds of things are going on.
But we got to hold it together for appearances.
Exactly. And that's what we do in relationships. If I learned that, I had to unlearn doing that.
That irritates me to my core. Because I'm sitting there going, the one person on the face of the earth that you have decided, I mean, you walking around the house naked with this person, you showering with this person, y'all drinking each other's backwash on the water, you know, y'all sharing straws at the movie theater, your same dirty hands and the popcorn. I mean, all this ungodly actions are going on. But you won't tell them what's on your heart. Because I don't get it.
Tender.
But if I'm not tender with somebody, I'm going to lose it.
But the thing is, it's not to say that you don't want to be tender. It's saying that I don't know how. And how often are we taught how to be tender, how to let that space open up and say, okay, when I let that space open up and I'm going to be vulnerable, I'm not going to get hurt.
So let's break those steps out a little bit. Let's talk about that, because that's what I really want people to understand. Okay. There's a way to merge into this creating safe space thing. What would be a few suggestions you would have from your perspective of how people should set the stage for being able to create a safe space?
I think it starts with understanding, really taking the time to understand first who you are. Who you are. Like, I need to know who I am. Okay. I need to know what my limits are and understand that, okay, when this happened, so if I get in a disagreement with my wife, am I going to respond out of she did something that pissed me off? Okay. Or am I responding out of some old thing?
Am I mad at this or am I mad at that?
Yes, and she just poked the bear.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so let's stop on that point real quick, because I want people to understand that you have to first know where you are. And you have to also be aware of your limitations.
Yes.
And you also have to be aware of your own ugly.
Exactly.
Because once I approach this thing of creating a safe space, I have to also be willing to allow to be a safe space within myself. Yeah. Because I can't ask you to do something that I'm not willing to do. What's another thing we want people to do?
So it's important to come from a place of compassion. So it kind of piggybacks off of the last point that you said. When we come from a place of compassion, again, starting with ourselves, because we come with our own stories, with our own stuff.
Absolutely.
I can have some compassion for myself. I'm really just having a bad day and I blew up and I was out of order, but I'm going to not beat myself up about that. And I'm going to be able to go back to my partner and say, you know what? I'm sorry. I messed up. And that person can then say, okay, you know what? I appreciate you being adult enough to be like, yeah, that was not cool.
Because what people don't understand is everybody's going to have a moment where something is going to be out of place, so they're going to go left. Yeah. And this is what I've got to a point now where I try to be measured in my response. And you know what I really practice that with? I practice that with my children. And as a parent, you can, I remember my son saying to me one day, I was taking him to school, he said, "Dad, you're different." And I was like, "What you mean?" He was like, "I don't know, he's like, you don't fly off the handle like you used to." And I said to myself, wow, I might have just saved this dude. Because when you think about how many years he gonna spend with me, right? And I'm single parent, so it's like he's seeing me more than he see anybody. So if he's spending all this time with me and I'm reacting in these loud reactionary ways where I'm always yelling or raising my voice or losing my temper, I'm subconsciously and without even knowing teaching my son that that's the proper emotional response.
And you're teaching him that that's what love looks like.
And that's what loves look like.
Exactly.
Instead of what I do now, what I try to do now for at least 2-3 times before I choke the hell out of him. But, eventually you pushing me, bro. But no, what I try to do now is, sit and talk and understand and help him understand why something is being brought to him. I've moved from the way of disciplining children with violence or spankings or things of that nature. Even though I was raised and I think I was just fine, getting a little tender put on you every now and then when you out of line. That belt straighten you up. You get your refocus real quick. Get your refocus. I don't do that necessarily. And I understand there's a lot, the society today is a lot different. Our children are growing up with a lot more complexities than we ever imagined when we was children. So I want to be able to be available to my kids in a lot of different ways that I wasn't available to be, that people may not have been available to me, not because they didn't want to be, just because they didn't have the tools or know how at that time. So along with those two things that you just talked about, first of all, you checking yourself, us having compassion. What would be another thing that eases us into that creating that safe space?
I think being open to taking risk.
And talk about the risk that you'll be taking. I want people to really understand what you mean by that. I kind of know where you're going, but I want you to break that out with the risk part, because it's not a guarantee that your partner going to respond the way you want them to respond. And that's what you got to be prepared for.
Exactly. And you have to say, you know what? I'm going to do this.
In spite of.
There you go. This is the right thing to do. I'm going to do this. This feels right. I may not, like you said, get the response that I want. But I know what I need to do right now is express my feelings in this way. What I need to do right now is to apologize because I did this or I said that. I need to be able to take that risk and walk away saying, you know what? I did it. It wasn't comfortable.
It wasn't.
Risk is not comfortable. It doesn't always feel good.
Exactly.
But in the end, we grow from it. We learn from it. And we become better people and better partners.
And then let's talk about what that does for your partner when they see that action. Because sometimes they'll be looking at you like you're crazy for a minute.
Yeah.
Like, who is this person and why is this calm measure of adultness being rendered my way? Usually there would be a frying pan, a saucing pan or something being thrown at me, or they would run out the house and get in their car and go drive around the corner 3 times like they're going somewhere. No, they're not going nowhere, just wasting the gas that we already have. So when those things don't happen and you come to them and you, hey, I want to talk, nothing, most people don't want to hear that I want to talk.
Yeah.
They be like, oh, what you want to talk about? I ain't paid the cable bill. What you want to talk about? I mean, because they know that's a serious thing when somebody say, I want to talk. Like, I've been texting you and talking to you all day. No. I want to really talk.
Yeah.
So when you get to that point where you get to that tone and you get measured with them and you're giving it to them, how do you brace yourself for the response that you didn't want? Because in most cases, they haven't been trained. They don't really know what they're receiving at the moment. It looks foreign and strange to them. Yeah. Usually when something is foreign and strange to us, we react in a very negative way sometimes. We don't really give what we should probably be giving in that moment. How do you prepare yourself for maybe not receiving in that instant what you are expecting as you're trying to develop that safe space?
So then it goes back to curiosity again. Okay. So if my partner isn't responding the way that I wanted them to respond, I have to remember that doesn't have anything to do with me.
Oh, okay.
They're probably responding out of something else. So if I'm curious, then it's like, okay, so where did this come from? What is this response coming from? Is it a response to the fact that this is how things normally are and it's kind of crazy and so on and so forth? So that's why they're responding that way. Are they responding because what love looks like to them is all this crazy fighting and so forth, and so they want to stay in that space?
Okay.
What is the reason that they're responding that way? And taking yourself out of it and not making it about, oh, well, this is all my fault and I shouldn't have done this and I shouldn't have done that. No, you did the right thing. Now you just have to let that person run their process. I
like what you said when you was like, I gotta take myself out of this situation, and that's really hard for us to do sometimes. One of the things I used to struggle with in relationships was constructive criticism. I would take it to the 10th power. A lady could say to me, Dumisani, you don't hear me you're not very good at hearing me when I'm talking to you. And I would say something in the effect of, why you always say I never hear you? I didn't say you never hear me. I said, in this instance, I don't feel that you are hearing me. Yeah. I'm not talking about your entire existence of this relation, but I would make it this big old ordeal where I can get mad and remove myself from the whole conversation because I don't want to deal with it. Yeah. So it was my passive aggressive way of sliding out of everything. You always no. You can't even tell me, hey, you forgot to do the lunch. Are you saying I don't feed my kids? I'm just saying you forgot the baby's sandwich today, and you might want to go drop it off at school on your way to work so that the baby can eat. But me, you came across all manhood and fatherhood within me now.
And the thing is,
people do that though.
Yeah. But you have to remember, so when she said that to you, when she said you forgot the baby's lunch, probably what was triggered is you hearing something about being a failure, something about not doing the right things. Yeah. That has nothing to do with her. That's that old story that keeps us from creating these safe spaces. Absolutely. So she's having a conversation with you in her mind, but in reality, she's having a conversation with that person who is struggling to get through failure and dealing with things, these old things that like, oh, well, you did this wrong and you did that wrong. That's a whole other thing. And that's the thing that we miss in relationships. And that's where all of these arguments and tension comes from, because we don't recognize that, oh, yes, I'm looking at Dumisani, but really I'm having a conversation
with his past.
With his past.
Absolutely. I do that very same thing when I sit down with a couple for the first time. I sit down with both individuals by themselves first before I sit down with them together. Yeah. And the reason being is because I want that person to have free range to say whatever it is that's on their mind without being worried about their partner being in the room or saying something foreign or strange that their partner, one, has never heard. Yeah. Partners hate hearing information for the first time in a public setting. They like, what? You used to do what? cocaine. But I'm just saying they don't want that information to be. They don't want to be the second person to know that information. Another thing is I want that person to have the ability to be vulnerable. And usually with strangers, sometimes we can do that better than we can with people that we know well. And then I get them together and I unpack the baggage that I found within them individually. I have them to unpack it in front of each other. And unpacking that baggage in front of each other is such a cleansing moment. To see people let their emotions move, to really become naked in the moment. And they realize, why have I been toting this stuff around? And I be trying to get people to understand this example. You walk into the relationship with this baggage. Y'all are going to create some baggage. It is inevitable that the two of you are going to have some foolishness to put on top of what's already there. So now you want to deal with your stuff. Now this luggage so heavy because your old stuff is in it. And then when the luggage don't move no more, we ready to hit the eject button and go on about our business. But the only reason that luggage got to the point where you couldn't move it no more is because you didn't unpack the stuff that had nothing to do with y'all in the first place. And half the time y'all was arguing, y'all wasn't even arguing about you two. You was arguing about some foolishness that y'all did with somebody else. More exes have killed relationships than the two people in them than I can think of. Half the time you so mad at the person who broke your heart that you ain't even sitting here trying to love the person who's trying to be something that you've never even experienced before. But you can't get your past out your head, so you can't even realize the present and the future that awaits you. It is damaging to see how people lose some of the best opportunities in their life based on us not being able to get past our history.
Yeah. And the thing is, when you say that the exes have so much power in relationships, it keeps us from wanting to be vulnerable and like, oh, well, this happened to me again. And what I tell people sometimes is that it's like climbing a ladder, and you've been really excited about something, and that was great, and so you've gotten up there, but you don't want to climb too high.
Exactly.
Because if you fall, it's going to hurt. So if you're in this relationship and things are great, I don't know. I don't want to go too far with this one because if I fall, it's going to be bad. So let's create opportunities to make it crazy. Let's add more to the baggage. I'm going to go buy some new stuff and put it all in there just to make sure that this doesn't get to the really happy place that I want it to be.
And that's great. And a few weeks ago we did a 4-part series on Adulting 101. And we talked about some of those very things you just mentioned. We talked about when it all falls apart, the acceptance of that, closure or starting over, and what did I learn? And one of the things we talked about and when it all falls apart is the rage that happens because of the lies that were told, the truth that wasn't given, and why people feel like they've been misguided or they've been, misled throughout the relationship. And they kind of like, man, you waste my time to such a degree that, and I said, it makes people act outside themselves, and they get into these vindictive and these rage moments over something that could have been prevented with a simple conversation, or just letting a person know what place you were in, or just helping a person understand, hey, you can't touch me like that, and you can't touch me like that for these reasons, or hey, I'm kind of into this thing that is, it might be a little different, but I kind of want to explain to you, why I'm into it, and I hope it's something you can try to, understand and not judge me for, because people are into things. And just because somebody is into something that you've never been into, don't necessarily mean that your relationship got to be over. Just mean that you might have to do a little bit more, ask a few more questions, let that curiosity come out. Understand, understand what that is for that person, what that does for that person, and why it's needed. And once you understand that, then maybe, you can come to something different.
I think it's important just to stay in that place of wanting to know more about the person that you are choosing to be with. Why am I choosing to be with this person? If you get to that why place in everything. Why am I choosing to be with this person? Have I made my list and they're checking off so many of the boxes that, it's better for me to stay and figure this out than it is for me to cut and run, then stay there. But if you don't know the why, then there's no point.
There was no starting place to begin with. Yeah, and a lot of times we just get into these things because it look good.
Oh, she's cute.
He's
cute.
Yeah. A girlfriend got a husband, so I want a husband. So let me get a husband. You know. I'm tired of going to weddings. I'm gonna pick one of these boys at this wedding, and we're gonna be married in a year. You know.
Yes.
You know, and he was just trying to have a good time at the reception. He ain't really mean for all this other stuff to transpire. Now 6 months later, you mad and deleting all the Facebook pictures and IG, and you got a whole new name, and you saying real strange things on your Facebook timeline that none of us understand. And we're trying to figure out. People want to ask you if you're okay, but they don't really want the story because they don't really care for real, but they just really want you to stop posting such strange things that you're posting because they're really concerned about you, and we're probably going to just send a therapist to your door and we'll pay for it so that you'll stop posting those strange things that you keep posting on Facebook that nobody agrees with. But I don't understand why people like to post anyway because they don't even believe half the stuff that they're posting. It's really strange to see the emotions come out in a Facebook timeline. You're like, what the world is going on with you? Yeah. And you can tell when people, it's so crazy. I can tell when people are in a relationship. I can tell when that relationship is in trouble, and I can tell when they single. If I was a dude looking to shoot a shot, I know when to slide. I'm telling you, it would be no, hey, woof, how you doing?
Yeah. But then that's part of the problem too in creating safe spaces where we can't have our relationship all over social media and then and expect to have vulnerability and all of these different things at home.
And you know what? And another thing I always try to get people to understand is this. As a guy, I don't know what women do. As a guy, all I'm saying is this. If you someone that looks attractive and cute, and I'm looking at your timeline, and I know you don't bother to judge people by Facebook. Yeah, whatever. I hear you. I ain't judging you, but I'm collecting information. And all I'm saying is the information is vital depending on what it is you might want to be interested in doing with that person. If I'm watching your timeline, and I'm seeing an emotional breakdown through every post. I'm sitting there going, yeah, I'm a pass. Yeah. I'm good. I'm good. I'm gonna stay single a little longer. This ain't the one. I hear you, Lord. You speaking to me. Amen. Thank you for coming through. Won't he do it? Save me again, even though His grace is merciful all the time. Amen. Look at God sliding in there, keeping me from myself. Because my flesh was weak, Lord. I was about to go in, and then you made her post something, and I was like, slide to the left. Let that go. And it's crazy, man. I just want people to, really become the best of themselves. Yeah. And one of the ways we're going to do that, man, I'm always harping on people. Man, you just got to be transparent and honest. Mm-hmm. People going to either, listen, people got two choices. Mm-hmm. They can hear what you tell them. They can be in agreement with. Mm-hmm. They can not be in agreement with. That's pretty much how that works. Yeah. It's either what you said is okay, and I got, I want to have a few more conversations about it, or I got some questions, mm-hmm. and we'll take it from there. Mm-hmm. Or it could be like, hey, I heard you. I'm not upset. You have a right to feel in that way, or you have a right to those things that you wanted, but that doesn't work for me. Yeah. I'm going to take my exit now. But, we cool. We can still be friends, whatever the case may be. But that's not something I'm willing to deal with at this point in time in my life. And it's as simple as that.
You say it's simple, but it's not really simple because we can all be afraid to ask questions, to really mm-hmm. dive in. And sometimes people don't want questions asked, and mm-hmm. it feels intrusive. It can feel like all of these different things. And if we haven't been taught how to just explore the transparency, how can we really say, okay, you just have to be transparent? Right. That's cute. It's cute. It sounds real cute and easy.
It does.
How am I supposed? What does that look like?
It looks like.
What does that feel like?
It looks like you opening your mouth, saying what's really there, and it feels uncomfortable as hell. Mm-hmm. And nobody said this is a Six Flags ride. Not at all. But this is this is the issue. People talk about wanting these real relationships. Mm-hmm. If you really want a real relationship, you got to be willing to go to some places that you probably never even seen put on, as an example in your real life, with your parents. Yeah. Your parents did things, look, man, cheaper to keep one. Was it, Daddy? I don't even know if you like Mama. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I swear Mama get on your nerves. Every time she come home, your whole disposition change. Yeah. You know what I mean? But they stay together for the kids. And sometimes the kids wish y'all would break up. Yeah. The kids be like, y'all getting on my nerves. Yeah. When are you leaving? We've been looking for Daddy a girlfriend. Cause we just trying to set up the side piece so that you can get mad and break up with it, Mama. Because y'all are getting on our nerves in this house. So people don't even understand that in their dysfunction sometimes they're not helping the situation.
No.
And just being able to stay or have staying power don't always mean healthy. Mm-hmm. And I want people to be in healthy relationships.
Absolutely.
Healthy partnerships, healthy marriages. And I think the only way you do that, man, one of the things I've learned from my divorces is that you got to open your mouth and say what it is you really need and what it is you really want.
Yeah.
And your significant other, wife, or whatever the case may be, can only do one or two things. They can either be for it and figure out a way that they're going to support you in that endeavor, or they're not going to be for it, and then y'all got some decisions to make depending on how crucial that is to the relationship, partnership, or marriage.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And that is the adult way to handle it. Mm-hmm. I don't understand what people are so confused about when it comes to that.
But it was a journey for you to get there.
Oh, was it? Lord have mercy. Was it a journey? It was rough. I mean, and it was a humbling experience. Mm-hmm. It got to a place to where you get low and you understand, like, man, I have to do something different here. And all I'm trying to do is help people not have to get to that place to have the realization that I've already had. That's the whole purpose of. That's one of the reasons I even moved into life coaching. Mm-hmm. I felt that I had a story and a journey that I could, cut the timeline down for some people, especially men.
Yeah.
I can save you a whole bunch of headaches, brother. Let me tell you, I screwed all this up 3 times. I can tell you how not to do a whole bunch of things.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure for you, it was something from your story that made you want to, help people find their voice.
Absolutely. It was an opportunity just to catch it before sooner than later.
Because you wish somebody would have did the same for you.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
That was good.
It was.
I hope people learn something, man. We're going to move into the 40 lesson moment. And the 40 lesson moment is today is don't miss the moment. Mm-mm. Don't miss the moment or opportunity to really have that growth with your partner in your relationship, in your marriage. You will be amazed what creating a safe place will do for your love life, if you having one. And we speaking about relationships, partnerships, and marriages among people. If you create a safe place and you get to the point to where y'all can have conversations about anything, and there are no judgments, there are open dialogue, there are questions of curiosity, of learning. I'm trying to understand the place you're coming from for this need. And you have a conversation that is inviting, that has empathy to it, that has compassion to it, that has a degree of understanding. You would be amazed to the heights that take your relationship. So I encourage people to really don't miss the opportunity to create that space within your relationship. It will be one of the best things you've ever done for your love life. It will help you experience love in a manner that you didn't even know was possible. And you don't believe me? Try it. Test me on that. Sit down with your partner, man. I'm telling you, best time to have those conversations. After sex, when you're both naked in the bed, y'all so open and vulnerable at that moment, while you laying there, y'all bodies are touching. Talk about some things you want to talk about, some things that's on your heart. Yeah. Man, the whole body is relaxed and off guard at that moment. Ain't nobody on edge. Just take a little time to ask some questions. Say some things. See how the other person takes it. And take it from there. Yeah. And then if you need some help, holler at me and share it. We got you covered. You can get in touch with one of us and we'll walk y'all through it and help y'all get there in a very adult manner. Tori Strickland presents Weightless, now available on Amazon.
Exactly.
All right. So look, man, Sherry, where can people find you? You got any events coming up, anything like that?
So I do a monthly small group for women.
Oh, tell us about that.
Silver Spring. So it's an opportunity for 6 women to come together and have some discussion that's all about growth and really getting connected to your inner voice.
Oh, wow.
And there's a different topic each month. Next month's topic, April's topic, is check your filter.
Check your filter?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we're hearing things, but we hear them through our filter and not necessarily what people are saying to us.
Check your filter.
So it's important for all of us to make sure that we're checking our filters. So that's next month's topic, but there are topics on my website for each month.
And the website
is sherrysamuels.com.
All right. And they can reach you on IG
at The Voice Coach.
All right. And she has a wonderful, I follow her on IG. She's actually a good friend of mine. So I follow her on IG. She does wonderful posts. She likes to talk all the time. She videos almost every day, don't you?
Not every day. At least once a week.
Yeah, at least once a week. She does a real nice video plug, and she always gives a lesson in the video. So again, another women's event. Us men can't find no events. I'm gonna have to create some events for the men, because the women got plenty going on. My dudes just out here wandering through the basketball court. They don't know what's going on.
You could do a talking circle too.
I could
with a small group of men.
Only if it's at the cigar lounge. That's the only.
Do it there.
That's what we're gonna have to do, the talking circle at. Well, that's good. I really appreciate you coming through this evening. It was a very good conversation. I enjoyed it. I hope y'all learned something. Creating a safe place is not an easy thing by any means. I know we had some levity to it. It is a challenging feat, but it will do amazing things for your relationship.
Indeed.
So, hey, man, we're going to be back and do this again next week. It's always a pleasure, man. We hope y'all remember, man. If you got any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email us at the 40 Lesson Podcast. That's the 40 Lessons Podcast. Please subscribe, follow. We are on YouTube. We are on Instagram. We are on Spotify and SoundCloud. So, hey, send us a comment. Tell us what you think. Get in touch with us as soon as you can. Let us know how we're doing. If you got some topics you want to hear about, let us know that too, man. Hey, you say it's yours. Let's go get it.